A lighter note for you now, and the holiday season is almost upon us. One of the most luxurious delicacies to pop up on festive plates here in France is caviar. Now, as naturally occurring delicacies go, those high-end fish eggs that are manually harvested from only certain species of sturgeon fish have always been in a class by themselves. Caviar was once only found at the finest of fine dining restaurants and has long been considered a celebratory splurge due to its high demand and even higher price points. Sometimes it can cost up to $3,200 per pound, living up to the nickname of black gold. But today, my guest is trying to disrupt the caviar market with a unique French and plant-based spin on that luxurious treat. Émilie Battaferrano, welcome. Thanks so much for coming on to join us today on Entre Nous. Now, you're the co-founder of Ancrée, something you co-founded with your sister. I mean, tell us a bit more about it. What is it exactly?
Yes. Ancrée is a family journey. So together with my sister Lucille, we propose a refined, French, unique gastronomic condiment which can be used as an appetizer on a toast, for instance, and it feels like caviar. And it can also be used with eggs, fish, beef, cheese, like a condiment.
So how did you actually go about developing it? First of all, why did you want to develop a plant-based caviar?
Yes, we wanted to propose a gastronomic condiment, and our consumers told us that the product remind them of caviar in terms of texture and in terms of flavor. We elaborate the product with two ingredients. The first one is a chia seed, more than 60% in the recipe. We buy at a farm close to Paris. And the second one is seaweed. We buy at a farm in Brittany. And together, we bring a new value proposition to the table.
And what does it taste like? I mean, for our viewers who can't actually taste it right now, is it close to a real caviar? Real caviar.
It is. We have three flavors. The first one is the iodized, and this is the closest one if we had to compare.
The saltiest.
To caviar. Yes, yeah. Saltiest. Then we have the yellow one, which is tangy, and here we will add yuzu to give some peps on the recipe. And the last one, truffle, with a unique association with black truffle and seaweed.
So was it difficult to market it as caviar? I know France is very specific about protecting labels of things like champagne or camembert. What about caviar? You can call it caviar even if it's not sturgeon roe fish eggs?
Legislation is evolving like the consumer expectations. Mm-hmm. So we always speak about a plant-based caviar. But in our minds and our first intention is really to propose a condiment. You can use if you want like a plant-based caviar, but also at other moment of your meal.
So half of all people in France say they've never tried caviar just because it's so expensive. So how did you, when you were developing this product, price it in the market? I mean, you want to be a luxury product, so the price needs to be high, but not too high. It also can't be too low because then maybe people don't think it's as luxurious. I mean, yours run between 16 and 25 euros. How did you land on that price point?
Yes, you are right. The first point is that the ingredients we are selecting are quality products. All the range is homemade. So we do the product together with Lucille. And it was important for us to keep the range affordable. So we worked a lot on prices to introduce gastronomy in our day-to-day lives. And this is why the prices are, of course, lower than caviar and accessible to more budgets.
So who are your main customers? Is it mostly individuals, or are you also trying to get into more restaurants with top-name chefs? Because eating plant-based is becoming trendy here in France.
Yes, you're right. Together, we have two targets. The end users, and among them, our range is made for early adopters, people who are curious to discover new taste, open to innovation. And we also work already with some gastronomic tables, chefs, and luxury catering with this range.
And how did you come up with the name Ancrée, which I guess you could translate into maybe rooted or dug in? Where did the name come from?
It has two meanings. The first one, we wanted a name which was French, girly, because we are two sisters, but also which reminds the sea universe. This is the first meaning. And the second one is because our product aims at anchoring new habits, consumption habits, which are greener and more healthier and good for the planet. So this is the second meaning of Ancrée.
And Ancrée is not just plant-based, it's also made in France. How important was it to you that this is a product that is made in France and made locally?
Yes, it was very important for us. Today, when we speak about food, people are more and more aware and expecting quality products, are searching for local production. We are French, our brand is French, our first market is France. So it was obvious for us, and we couldn't have done another way than producing close to where we live.
How much trial and error did it take? How many different kinds of Caviar, I guess if we can call it that, did you have to put together until you got it right?
So Lucille is the chef, so she's on the R&D part, and we needed about 4 to 6 months to develop the first flavor, the iodized one, until something we really liked. We then tested the product on the market, of course, directly with consumers, and this is where people told us that the product reminds them of caviar. And we officially launched the range back in February this year with 2 new flavors to make it wider to please everyone's preferences.
Emily, just before you go, I mean, you developed this with your sister. Any advice for people who are working with a family member trying to be an entrepreneur, launch a new product? Anything you learned?
It's a fabulous journey. We know each other very well, and this helps a lot. We are also complementary, so she's in the kitchen, I'm more on the paperwork and on the sales part. So I consider we are a good duo.
All right, Emily, thank you so much for coming in to tell us about Ancrée, the French plant-based caviar with Emily Batafarana. Thanks so much for coming in.